All right, here we go again. Here's a psychic verification of the day. And this is one of the reasons at a certain point that Satan was blocking the touch up paint code for where I live. Right? So I got past Sherwin-Williams store, and the thing was like, well, you could probably buy the paint there once you get code. And I was like, well, that's if it's Sherwin-Williams. He goes, oh, no, it's Sherwin-Williams for sure. It was Sherwin-Williams. I don't know. It could have been God, could have been somebody who works for the company. Or, could be the company itself, its spirit. Sometimes that happens if the company's big enough and actually giving enough. Right. So definitely, and Satan's mad that I said that because the door swung in, but there's a thing that catches the door. Yeah, I'm doing the move here. I'm moving stuff around my apartment. I'm putting some additional vinyl carpeting in. I don't know if their vinyl carpet would suffer an impression. She said, or vinyl, I can't tell if is this plank or I think it's just vinyl flooring. She said sometimes the flooring gets screwed up. I said, well, I put down vinyl carpet like a because houses, $1,000 worth of deposit's a lot, but I'm sure it was a brand new home. So again, there's a lot to it. But she said, sometimes people move furniture and it messes up the vinyl or something like that. And I said, well, I put my own vinyl down over top. And so I don't know if hers would have suffered an impression, the one they have here. But I just bought like a remnant from Home Depot. And I know it was one of their scorched line before, I think, like scorched chestnut or something like that. And so I don't know if I did actually save it by doing this or not. But it was funny. It said, for sure it's Sherwin-Williams. So, I'm just on my phone here without the mics, lab mics and stuff. So, it's coming up again, the shooting. Who was the shooter? Why was he so accurate? Why were our people not so accurate? And again, we did see a kind of a Keystone Cops episode play out with the guy, and his punches were pretty. I was in the academy, and I never got punched by the guy. I don't remember his name. Some black guy, but he was a boxer. But he was, he's thick, and I don't remember who got punched by him. But I mean, there's some pretty beefy guys, right? They didn't put like some woman in, but and he hit him like a rag doll. I mean, you could see him when he punched somebody to the side, their body would just mold around his fist. Like the upper body would go, one way, then the center of the body would go the other way, and then the lower body would go the same way as the. It's like getting hit by a car. I don't remember the guy's name. I think he became a deputy. I don't think he was just an 1811er. I think he was a deputy. So again, that particular thing, I think that's what that was. I think that guy was an effective puncher, and they didn't expect it. Like some people are superhuman, like that one guy. I don't know if it's real or a skit, but I think it's real. Anatoly or whatever. He lifts the big weights and he doesn't have a lot of muscle mass. Actually, strength is not muscle mass. Strength. I mean, you can have muscle mass, and that could add to your strength. But strength is you can be lean and not be as big as somebody. Muscle mass is a different type of fiber, if I'm not mistaken, and of course neurology and everything else. So again, some cops are not ready sometimes for that person that can, because they went to the academy with just regular people, right? And they never got hit by a superhuman man. I brought up a story when I got out of the Army. The first thing I did was get the Pennsylvania armed security license or whatever certification, I think it was. And it was a retired Philadelphia cop that owned the old city indoor pistol range, and he ran the course and in Philadelphia. And he said there was a guy. He said there was a guy. Like whether he was registered or not, we don't know. But he said police considered him registered as lethal. Uh, he was a black belt or whatever, and I think he was a Vietnam veteran and all that. And he was an active police officer in Philadelphia. They got called out to him, and he'd never been in trouble before, but not, this was pretty bad. And he said, we went in, and I didn't want to shoot him. And, so what I did, he was explaining how to use baton and all that kind of stuff, right? And how that fit into the lethal force paradigm. And he said, I took his club out. And he said, I drew back as far as I could. Because this guy, if he gets his hand on you, he's going to kill you. He said, I drew back as far as I could with both hands. And I let it fly where he was supposed to. I said, I hit him where I was supposed to, in that area between the shoulder and the elbow. And I broke his bone. He said that was it. It was over at that point. But he said, as far as that. So you have to be careful. Some people are like that. And I think that's what they ran into. I think spray would have been more effective. Because you see him trying to set up that distance to get the taser working, and he couldn't do it. So I don't know if they don't. Some places probably don't let them have spray anymore because I guess there was some issues, and a lot of times people don't want to use it because you have to clean the person up. But I wouldn't worry about it. I would use it. Spray sometimes works the best, right? Especially when they're bum rushing you like that. Because the closer in they are, you got to turn your head, but just right in the eyes, directly in the eyes, and the nostrils and all that, in the face. Right? But you got to turn your head when you do that if you're close in. He's got hands on or she's got hands on. Otherwise, you could probably still just keep backing up and spraying. But the other guy, where there's a couple officers, a couple officers were shot. He seemed to be very accurate. I imagine he was somewhat mobile and accurate. Was he trained? Did he have a large caliber? Again, officers are wanting to know what happened. And again, we should have some sort of after action review that helps them defeat whatever it was, or at least consider whatever it was when they walk into it. Again, the issue may have been dispatched and let them know what they should have known. That happens. Right, which means it's important that dispatchers also receive their training and their after-action reviews on what went wrong in some of these situations. Again, one of the things that I see lacking, or was lacking, I don't know if they took care of it all, is dispatchers not controlling the caller. The dispatcher should have control over the caller, and the officer should be able to reach out to the dispatcher and say, okay, I want to talk to the person, or I don't want to talk to the person. And dispatcher should, I know dispatchers are busy, but if the officer's on scene, the dispatcher should be able to say, okay, my officers are on scene. And then sometimes they stay on the phone, things like that. So again, different places have different standards. So for some reason, he was more accurate than officers were. It could have been the element of surprise. I don't know what happened there. We don't have much information, but that type of scenario is a doomsday scenario. So it should be studied as an after-action review. And then information sent from DHS or the Justice Department out into the field, FBI, whoever it is, out into the field, or all the above. And then officers can then adjust from there and have things in their mind to consider that maybe they didn't consider or do consider, and then they can say, yeah, see, I consider that. And then I'll keep on considering it. But it doesn't make sense how he was so successful. But again, also metaphysics. So it could be a time period where we're all being cursed. It just may be some freak thing. Which really, that whole thing with the taser and him knocking the officers down, that's kind of a freak thing. But I could see with his punches, they were like haymaker kind of things. But he reminded me of the guy in the academy that, he probably has more strength than your average person in their punch. Even, somebody who knows what they're doing is only as effective as their strength in a lot of times. So he probably has a lot of extra strength in his punches. He knows how to produce that kind of energy. Again, another issue creeping up is the AI radicalization, where people are taking on cops. I guess freedom of speech kind of is there. But again, if they're involved with a group of people designing that stuff and putting it out there, it might actually be based upon their statements online that they're actually interested in radicalizing people into harming law enforcement officers engaged in active law enforcement operations, and in some cases, in their lives. Again, when you're working for ICE, you don't lose your civil rights, or even on the task force as another type of officer, or another officer from a different agency or whatever it is. You also, when you're off duty and you're trying to sleep and they're harassing you and won't let you sleep, and again, the videos say they know that these are ICE people. It's personal. You're being stalked. Those people could all go to prison for trying to keep you up at night. And again, if the local police departments won't cooperate, you sue them. You have civil rights. They have to do their job. All right, stay peaceful. Praise God, and all that you do, praise God.